Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Shadow Stitch, and I like solo running Pokemon Black and White. So last week we took on the game with the Vanillix-line, and honestly, it did a lot better than I thought it would for a Pokemon. It's an Ice type, slow growth rate, evolves up late, all that fun stuff. However, it still only landed itself at the top of the D tier, so kind of underwhelming compared to some of the other stuff that we've ranked so far. So. You see everything that on this tier list does have a video on the channel, so if you see anything that piques your interest, feel free to go check that out. There'll be a playlist link down below and at the end of the video, but stick around because today we are going to be running with Zebstrika. So I've always really liked this Pokemon. It's just a very simple design, I know, but it's just an electric type zebra, but I think that's kind of cool. So it is a pure electric type, kind of like the premier electric type of the Unova region. It's Elisa's ace and all that fun stuff, which is just kind of nice. So as for the stats, we have 100 attack and 80 special attack, so very serviceable on both. We can maybe go like a mixed attacking route. Excellent 116 base speed, so we're never going to have to really worry about speed during this run, which is nice. We'll outspeed basically everything in the game, which is cool. 75 attack with 63 in both defenses is not incredible, but, you know, at least we'll probably be able to take one hit, and sometimes that's all you can really ask of a Pokemon. So, as for our abilities, we had two options, Motor Drive or Lightning Rod, which we chose to go with this time around. However, the way the AI works, neither one of them are really going to come into play. We'll touch on that a little bit more later, so... for the move pool, though, we're not looking incredible, but, you know, at least we got some more options than we did last week with Vanillix. So we do have Discharge by level up, which we could eventually upgrade to Thunderbolt or Thunder for special electric damage. Wild Charge is our best physical electric stab, which is nice. We have Flame Charge for some fire coverage, Pursuit for dark, and even Rock Smash for fighting. So while they are coverage options, they're kind of weak. Of course, we do have Return to give us some strong neutral coverage into most things. And I know that you're seeing Overheat over there. However, unfortunately, that is a post-game only TM. So at least we have some options. I'll take it over none, at least, you know. So that's pretty cool. So of course, we do evolve up. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at Blitzel, though. Yeah, look at the little dude. So Blitzel's stats are pretty much what you'd expect. Pretty low defenses, 60 attack, 50 special attack are, you know, decent. 76 speed is great. We'll be outspeeding basically everything in the early game here, which is nice. However, it does only start off with Quick Attack and Tail Whip, and we don't even get a stab move until level 11 with Shockwave, which kind of sucks. So after that, though, we'll pick up Flame Charge for some fire type coverage, Pursuit for some dark if we really want it. Spark at 25 is nice. We'll be able to finally let us use our higher physical attack, and then we'll evolve into a Zebstrika at level 27. So, like I said, might struggle a little bit in the early game right here, but it's definitely going to be better than the last electric type we were in, Electros, but, you know, that had its own extra can of worms to fish out, so... Anyway, you see the rules on the screen right now. You can check the description for some more niche stuff. Overall, I think that we have a pretty fun run ahead of us. So let's see how Zebstrika does. As usual, we're going to preload our starter into the run before it even begins. This is going to allow us to change our nature, IVs, you know, all that fun stuff. So we don't have to worry about any of that from the beginning. So we are going to be taking the Oshawott line. This is going to give Bianca the Tepig line and Cheren the Snivy line. So we don't really have an advantage or a disadvantage over either one of them, really. Sure, Cheren's going to resist our electric moves, but honestly, any way that I went with this probably wouldn't have really mattered. So We chose to go with the rash nature this time around. This is going to boost our special attack and lower our special defense. In hindsight, I probably could have gone for a quiet nature, lowering speed and boosting special attack, but we don't really take that many special attacks in the run anyway, so I don't think it actually ended up impacting too terribly much. So as we take out the rival battles here, as you can see, quick attack is not doing a ton of damage. Even when we're lowering the defense with tail whip. So we really need to get to that level 11 as soon as we possibly can so we can get shockwave. So we do have a medium fast growth rate though, so that's going to hold us back a little bit. It's not that bad though. It's certainly a lot better than last week where we had a slow growth rate Pokemon with Vanillux, but you know, definitely could be a little bit better like a medium slow Pokemon, but I'll definitely take it over that slow growth rate. So we're gonna play through the rest of the tutorial here. N is pretty grindy, but definitely very doable, and then we can head towards Route 2. After finishing off the mandatory youngster here, we notice our PP is pretty low, so instead of continuing on the route, I'm just going to go ahead and use the rest of my PP, gain some experience on wild Pokemon, and then go heal up at the Pokemon Center. So 30 PP is pretty decent, but when we're using multiple along the way to take out one Pokemon, it definitely loses pretty fast. So we take out the rest of the trainers, take care of Bianca. She's not really going to be much of a problem either, and then head into Striaton City. As we entered into Striaton City, we're going to stop by the back alley, grab the Dusk Ball, and then head into the Dream Yard. So the two trainers here should be able to get us to level 11, and they do, so we finally get Shockwave and have a stab move. Thank God. So we pick up our monkey, which is going to be very useful for later. Stop by the Pokemon Center to top off our PP, but also to deposit our team. It is a possibility that we may have to do a little bit of blackout training considering how weak some of our moves are right now, but after we do that, we're going to stop by the trainer school, take care of Cheren. He's not going to be too much of a problem, and then head into the gym. On our way through the gym, we do have a couple gym trainers, of course, and the second waitress right here we hit with a shockwave, and then we get crit by a bite. Unfortunate, but her follow-up Purloin is not that strong. Well, that is until she actually assists and lands Bite, which gives her an actually decent strong stab move, which is kind of crazy. I think that's the first time I've ever blacked out to one of these gym trainers like that, at least to this one, which is kind of crazy. So on the follow-up, we take her out with no real hassle. We're just going to finish that off. That crit definitely didn't really help, but it is what it is. So she even landed Bite again on the follow-up, which is kind of crazy. So thanks to that, though, we do take the blackout and actually get to go into the first gym battle here at level 13. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so Silent is going to be the leader of choice this time around because, of course, we grabbed the Oshawott line. So thanks to Charge, it has a very interesting effect where it doubles the power of an electric type of move if used immediately after it, which is pretty cool. That is just going to immediately vaporize that freaking King Lillipup. We're going to stack a couple of Tail Whips, and thankfully the Pansage is going to drop in 3 of those, not do too much damage even after a couple workups because Vine Whip is so weak, and we can claim our first gym badge. Thankfully, no real problems right there with the first gym outside of that one gym trainer and a very awkward blackout. So we're going to get contracted by Fennel to head into the Dream Yard, take care of a couple of the Plasma Grunts there, get her science stuff, and then we can move on towards Route 3. Of course, as we enter Route 3, we do have a mandatory double battle, so we did have to pick up our Panseer right there at least. So they do have Sand Attack, and they like going for it sometimes, but thankfully Shockwave can never miss, so that's really nice right there. So we're going to go ahead and take care of the rest of the trainers here in the preschool. The kids' monkeys get pretty decent experience. We can pick up an Ultra Ball in the sandbox, heal at the house, and then face off with Cheren. Alright, so Cheren, he's much closer to our levels now, and he does resist our attacks, so there's that. But we have Thunder Wave. We picked that up along the way, and with a little bit of yellow magic and going for charge, we should be doing at least some decent damage right here. So charge plus shockwave, looks like it's going to be able to finish this off. He gets paralyzed a couple of times, and despite us cutting it kind of close, we do end up pulling this one out. So very nice. That's probably the closest rival battle that we're gonna have in this run, thankfully, spoiler alert. So we're going to chase the plasma guys throughout the rest of the Wellspring Cave, pick up a couple HM friends, grab the glitched rare candy on Route 3 here, and then head into Nakreen City. As we head into Nakreen, Cheren's going to stop us and hook us up with some Chesto berries like usual, and then we can head straight into the Pinwheel Forest, picking up the TM4 Rock Smash that could potentially come in useful for later, heal up on the nurse trainer right outside the forest, and then head in to do a little bit of training and pick up one of our HM friends. So while it is very important for us to do this training, we're also going to be doing something very important. Just like with the Vanillix run, we are going to be going for Hidden Power in this run. So if you didn't remember or didn't watch the Vanillix run, we have to get to 115 Pokemon seen before we get it as a gift from Professor Juniper back in the home New Vema town. So yeah, it's definitely quite the process. However, our goal this time around, whereas Vanillix was able to get through the league without needing Hidden Power, I think that we have to get Hidden Power before the league. This is significantly harder because there are a lot of Pokemon on the Elite Four teams that fulfill that Hidden Power requirement very easily for us. So instead, though, we have to do a lot more optional trainers, which means that we are going to be dumping a lot of time in that, and we will be pointing out or I'll be pointing out a couple of those trainers along the way. I'm sure that I'll miss one or two, but for the most part, I'll be pointing out an optional trainer for a Hidden Power entry. So as we make our way through here, we do have the first one is going to be this little girl with a Petalil and a Cottony, and that's going to be easily done now that we picked up Flame Charge, and then we can head back into Nakreen City. As usual, we're going to stop by the Pokemon Center and deposit our HM friends right here, and then we're going to head towards the gym. So I don't think that we can really avoid doing any kind of blackout training. However, and the gym trainers are not going to be too much of a hassle. So let's take them out real quick and then face off with Lenora. All right, first crack at Lenora. Thankfully, Intimidate's probably not going to really matter too much. We're going to be going for Shockwave. We're going to charge up and then fire off a Shockwave. Does almost half. I thought maybe it'd be out of healing range, so we go for another one. Unfortunately, it was not, which means that our next one is not going to do enough, and a takedown is immediately going to wipe us out, so that kind of sucks. So before we head immediately into the gym, I'm going to stop by Route 3. There are a couple trainers out here before that I missed, so we're going to take care of them real quick and then give Lenora one more shot. All right, next try with Lenora. So I'm going to actually incorporate Thunder Wave. This should definitely hurt her consistency a little bit. So as we see, the takedown just does so much damage. Thankfully, though, we are able to knock it out and do a decent amount of damage. Thunder Wave on the Watchog as well, but eventually it will break through. We kind of have to go for Charge and Shockwave to do a bunch of damage. So yeah, we're going to be just doing as much blackout training as we can. It is pretty inconsistent, but definitely the best way to gain experience outside, because the only other option we have right now, since we've knocked out all the other trainers, is just wild Pokemon. So yeah, this is not exactly the most consistent, but eventually we will break through with enough experience and enough luck. So let's go ahead and skip right to the winning attempt. And that's right, our blackout counter went all the way up to 12. We are in the double digits now. So same strategy though, we're going to Thunder Wave, go for Shockwave, Charge and Shockwave on the following turn. She gets paralyzed multiple times in a row. You'll love to see it. Definitely, like I said, that luck just lining up. Immediate paralysis on the Watchog is nice. Immediate paralysis again. 3 in a row. You love to see it. She finally breaks through with a retaliate. Only does about half, and we are able to get that second gym badge. So yeah, eventually we would have broken through or evolved into Zebstrika, but kind of a wild that it took us 12 blackouts to get to that, or 11 blackouts rather. So we're going to watch the plasma guys steal a random skeleton skull and chase them into Pinwheel Forest. Nothing really happens in the forest. We do cut it a little bit close thanks to the last trainer Sandile, doing a ton of damage with a sand tomb. But we do get to level 25, learn Spark. We just throw that over charge. We shouldn't need that anymore. And now we have a physical stab move that can use our higher attack. So we're going to take out a couple of the trainers on the bridge, so they're out of the way whenever we come back here for a rare candy later, cross the Skyro Bridge, and head into Castelia City. As we enter into Castelia City, we are going to have to stop by the Pokemon Center. I don't like stopping by this one because this girl's in the way and she likes to just have a little bit of dialogue with us, so it's a little bit slow. So we are going to top off though, head up the first street and go up the first skyscraper where we can pick up the TM for rest. Go to the North Street, grab the Eviolite, even though we are very close to evolving, and then head out to Route 4 to do a little bit of extra training on the Basculin Fishermen. They give pretty solid experience, and they are another thing that we need for hidden power, so that's pretty solid. So after that, we are so very close to level 27 on our evolution, but we're going to head right back to the city, beat up the Plasma Grunt, evolve, and then it's going to be time to head into the gym. And yeah, now that we're evolved, pretty much nothing around here is going to cause us too much problems. We actually even have a super effective coverage move. Flame Charge is going to two-shot that Whirlipede, which is beautiful. Dwebel's going to come in. It has lower special defense, so we're going to pop it with a Shockwave. Levani, it's 4 times weak to fire, and that just is going to drop. I don't even think we needed the critical hit, but thanks anyway. So, very nice. We get our 3rd gym badge, and then we can head out towards Route 4. Bianca isn't going to be any problem at all. Neither is Cheren, actually, so that's pretty sweet. And we can just go straight to Nimbasa City. After chasing the plasma dudes back off to the amusement park, we're going to grab a bike from the old dude, have a quick chat with Bianca, and then we can start our usual Nimbasa chores. Of course, first thing first is going to be stopping by the Pokemon Center and picking up the TM for return. This is going to be very useful for us. It's going to give us a nice, strong, neutral hit into things that our stabs don't really work on. Heal up, grab our team for our HM friends, pick up the HM for strength, do a little bit of Pokemon dress up, and then we can head out towards Route 16. On Route 16, we can cut down a tree and grab a nice free rare candy, which is definitely going to be very useful. None of the trainers here give too terribly much experience outside of the first guy with the Herdier, so we're going to immediately head back towards the Nimbasa and have our date with N. N shouldn't be too much of a problem. He does lead off with a Sandile, but we have return now, so that's pretty good. So when return's going to come out, immediately drop that, which is very useful. Darumaka is also not going to live a Spark, so that's going to bring in Scraggy. So Scraggy does end up living and hits us with a Swagger, so unfortunately we have to deal with confusion, but not enough to stop us from taking him out. We do hit ourselves in against the Sigilif, and it forces us out with a Whirlwind, so at least it got rid of our confusion for us, which is nice, I suppose. So we just switch back in, take it out with a Spark on the following turn, and unfortunately gain a little bit of extra experience on our temple, wasting some time. But overall, though, not too bad, and we can head into the gym. So the gym here is not really that bad. The Emolgas are definitely very annoying, but we have Shockwave for their double teams. However, electric types are not immune to paralysis in this generation. That is something that changed in generation 7, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So we are still susceptible to their static. So yeah, that's not very nice, but we've picked up a couple paralyzed heals along the way, and without too much problems, we are going to be facing off with Elisa. All right, electric type master versus my one and only Zebra. So we do have shockwave for the Emolgas. It's never going to miss, and we don't have to worry about touching them for their static. So we do have to pretty much two-shot everything in the gym. Return does proc the hyper potion there, but no big deal. We just finish it off on the following one. I go for a return, hoping I can just get the one shot. Thankfully, I dodged the static, but it does not look like it. So 2 more shockwaves is going to finish off that Emolga, and there we go. We have our 4th gym badge, just barely over an hour into the run. So honestly, now that we have our final evolution, we are building some momentum. So let's head out towards Route 5. Cheren's going to be no issue. We're going to beat up a couple toddlers, take care of the Sigil Lift Trainer for a little bit of extra experience, and then we can head towards Driftvale City. First thing we're going to do whenever we enter Driftvale City is stop by here and grab the Expert Belt. This is going to give us a useful held item for a while, and then pick up some Moo Moo Milk since I'm running a little bit low on healing items. So first things first, whenever we enter the cold storage, we got to stop by this youngster. He has a Carablast, which is going to be useful for us for hidden power, and might as well do a little bit of extra experience. So we're going to pick up the PP up in the trash can, the ether, and the protein in the grass, and then take care of all of the trainers and the plasma dudes in the cold storage before we can head out towards the gym. Thanks to the power of return and our level advantage, none of the gym trainers are going to cause too much problems, but I don't think I can say the same thing for Clay. So return is going to end up getting the one shot on the Croc Rock, which is really nice, but Palpito does crit us and drop our speed with a bulldoze, which is really unfortunate. So it's always living a return, and unfortunately the best thing we have is flame charge into the Excadrill. It does live, finishes us off with a bulldoze, and we take our reset right here. So very, very unfortunate, but it is the ground type gym, and we are an electric type. So take 2 against Clay. Let's see how it goes. Krokorok is going to come out here. We're going to fire off a return, and we learned that return is actually a roll to finish off the Krokorok. Really unfortunate right there. So yeah, that'd be really nice if maybe we can get a critical hit on the Palpitoad, but we do not. It does waste our time a little bit with some Aqua Ring, so it doesn't hit us, which is nice. And now it's back down to the Excadrill. So Bulldoze is going to come out, though. It is way too strong and is going to finish this off. So that kind of sucks. So third time's the charm, though, as they always say, right? So let's give it a shot. So Clay versus my Zebstrika. So Krokorok comes out, we hit that return. Do we get the one shot? We do. We get that higher roll this time around, which is nice. Palpito comes out, does not critical hit us with its bulldoze this time, which is cool. And then we just waste his hyper potions with a couple returns. So all that's left is the Excadrill. Do we have enough HP to hang on? Flame Charge comes out, bulldoze, 1 HP live, baby. Let's go. And another Expert Belt boosted Flame Charge is going to finish it off. Hell yeah. So big Zebstrika living on 1 HP, getting us our gym badge after only 2 resets. Not half bad going for an electric type going up against the ground type gym leader. So very nice. We're going to stop by the Pokemon Center, pick up our Max Repels now that they're available, and a bunch of Hyper Potions. Take care of Bianca really quick, and then head towards Route 6. On our way through Route 6, we do have a couple trainers for our hidden power entries. First up is going to be the scientists that have deerlings, so that's going to be very useful. There's also a Parasol lady here that has a Vanillite and a Frillish, so there's 2 more. We got a wild fungus that we can interact with a Pokeball on the ground to get heal at the healing house, and then go towards Chargestone Cave. After grabbing the elixir, we can battle the Ace Trainer right here. He is going to give us our first hidden power entry in the cave here with his Arcan, so that's very nice. And then we got a lot going on in this cave, so let's just rapid fire right through it. So the doctor right in front of the Plasma Gauntlet is going to give us the entry for Swadloon as well as healing us. We're going to make a quick pit stop about halfway through the gauntlet to grab the rare candy in the basement, and is very easy, as you can imagine, since we have coverage for his steel types, which is nice. We got one more Ace Trainer before we leave that's going to have the entry for Tortuga, but also blocks off the Magnet, which is going to give us a 20% boost to all of our electric type moves that we go for, and then we can head into Mistralton City and beyond. We chase off after Skyla to Route 7, where we pick up the TM for Charge Beam. This is definitely going to be very useful. It's our one and only way to actually gain stat boosts on this Pokemon, because we have no other way to boost our offenses or anything really. So at least we have that option. We have the first youngster right here. He is a Shelmet, which is going to be another hidden power entry. We are going to battle the Ranger with the Axew and then head into the Celestial Tower. Inside the Celestial Tower, we battle the first Psychic, which has a Yamask and Golett. Another one with a Litwick. Then we battle the Nurse Trainer, which gives us the entry for Gothita and the Big Fat Fish, along with healing us, which is very useful. So after making our way through the final floor, accidentally running into an Ace Trainer, we can meet up with Skyla at the top of the tower. At the top of the tower, we can ring that bell, and that gives me the opportunity to say, hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this video. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. I do these solo challenge videos at least once a week. Stream on the weekends whenever I feel up to it. Usually do like Nuzlocke challenges and other kind of challenge runs. Occasionally I'll do like a first run of a Pokemon if I'm feeling down to it. Yeah, so funny internet number going up makes me feel happy and all that cringe YouTuber nonsense. So yeah, we're an electric type. We're going into a flying type gym. You already probably know what's going to go on, but let's go ahead and face off with Skyla. All right, Skylight time. So Swoobat starts off. It is pretty fast, but not fast enough. One Spark is going to immediately drop that, get us to 44. Very nice. Unpheasant as well is going to drop. As you notice, I didn't even bother healing, so that's pretty fun. So, and then another for the Swanna, 4 times effective, and that is going to drop as well. And we claim our 6th gym badge, and we can move on. As we make our way through Route 7, we're going to have a quick chat with Mom and then battle the Harlequin Trainer right here. It's going to give us the hidden power entry for Tynamo, which is very nice. And then we can beat up Cheren at the foot of Twist Mountain. Also very nice right there. Watch Alder show off his bionic legs and get the HM for Surf before we head into Twist Mountain. On the way through Twist Mountain, we do have a couple optional trainers for hidden power entries. This Battle Girl has Throw, and it does do a significant amount of damage to us, but it's not really too bad, thankfully. We got a Doctor that's going to give us an entry for Duosion on top of healing us, which is cool. And then on the final Black Belt on our way out, he has Sock, and we're also going to be able to learn Wild Charge over Spark, giving us our strongest physical electric stab, which is very nice. And then it's time for us to head into Icarus City. And then we're going to immediately face off with Bryson because nothing else interesting happens here. So Wild Charge, the Vanillish immediately drops, and that's very nice. Beartic's going to come in. It does live a Wild Charge, but all it does is hit with a Swagger. Pretty much the only way that Bryson can ever do anything is if he hits you with a Swagger and you end up killing yourself. So thankfully, though, none of that happens this time around, and one more return onto the Cryogonal. It's going to finish that off and give us our 7th gym badge. Very nice. So once again, Bryson, an absolute joke. Even if he does get a turn, he can't do anything with it. So yeah, let's go ahead, head towards Dragon Spiral Tower. Before we head into the tower, though, we are going to cross the pond here. There is an Ace Trainer here that does have a Galvantula, which is going to be another hidden power entry for us, which is nice. Outside of that, nothing really interesting happens in the tower as usual. We get to see N's fancy new dragon, and then we can chase them towards the desert. We are going to make one slight deviation, though. Whenever I get back to Nimbasa City, I'm going to go to the train station. After talking to the girl and getting the Versus recorder, we're going to head inside and go to the brown train. This is going to give us, take us to Anvil Town, which is a area that doesn't really serve too much purpose, but there is a rare candy here. If we go in here, talk to this guy, he's going to give us a free rare candy. So on Pokemon that might be struggling a little bit, needing a little bit of extra levels, I do think that this is a pretty quick rare candy I can start picking up, especially when we have Fly, since we can just immediately fly back to Nimbasa City. So we're going to make our way into the desert. The gauntlet has nothing interesting happening other than picking up a PP up, and then we can fly out. I did actually forget to grab the rare candy here that I usually grab, but I think it'll be okay for the most part. So we are going to pick up the one behind the Shrink Boulder on Route 2, and then head into Nacrene City, have a little bit of dialogue, get a funny looking rock, pick up the pinwheel candy, and then we can move on back to Icarus City. In Icarus City, before we move on, we are going to buy the TM for Thunder, since as we enter into Route 8, you're going to see it is raining. So, of course, Thunder does bypass accuracy checks when in the rain, and it is our strongest move. So we're going to go ahead and throw that on over Flame Charge, since we don't really need that right now. So there is another Ranger here that has a Shinchino, so we're going to take care of them real quick for another Hidden Power entry, and then it's going to be time for us to face off with Bianca for one last time. All right, Bianca time, and with the power of Thunder and the rain boosting its accuracy, we're just gonna drop that on the Stoutland. It goes down in 1. Emboar comes out. That also is going to drop in 1. Very nice. Simisage does need return, so we're just going to two-shot that with return, which is cool. And last but not least is going to be the Musharna. Thunder's going to drop, and it actually lives very comfortably, surprisingly enough, which is kind of crazy. So, but after she heals it, another couple Thunders is just going to immediately take care of that. Very nice that I was able to incorporate Thunder. You usually don't see that super often, but it definitely helped with the potential chip damage that we could have gotten there. So otherwise we would have had to two-shot all of her Pokemon. So on our way through the 2-blind bridge, we're going to grab the TM for Flame Charge so we can reteach that later on if we need to. Have a quick chat with Getsus and his ninjas, and then move on towards Route 9. And congratulations, Zeke, for 2 videos in a row. You actually serve a purpose. Look at you go. So his Poniard is a unique entry, so that's nice. And we can also learn Thrash from leveling up on this battle into level 53. So we're going to head into the mall here. There's actually another PP up hidden in the little janitor closet area. And then there's actually a couple trainers in here. I'll be honest, I did not know that there was trainers in here when until I started routing out Hidden Power. This waiter right here does have a Minccino and also a Lampent. We're not actually going to be picking up any vitamins this time, so we can go straight to Opelucid City. On our way through the gym, thanks to us having Thrash, the fractures are just going to drop in 1 hit, which is really nice. So there are a couple Drudigans along the way with rough skin, so we'll have to be careful of those. But as long as we stay topped off and healed up, we should be in front of Drayden in no time. All right, time for Drayden. So he leads off with a Fracture. It likes to just go for Dragon Dance and stuff like that. So we're just going to hit it with a Return, bring it down to red. Just goes for a weak Assurance, though, thankfully. We are going to waste his healing items here, which I'm perfectly fine with. So finish off the Fracture right there. Draudigan's going to come out. His Draudigan does have Rough Skin, so we're going to go for a Discharge to not trigger that. Unfortunately, though, he does Dragon Tail us out, and my rules is I always have to switch back to my solo Pokemon as soon as possible. So because of that, we take another chip away. We lock ourselves into Thrash. So unfortunately, though, he did send us into our Oshawott, which is our lowest level Pokemon. So he's gaining a ton of levels right here, wasting a lot of time, which is unfortunate. So Haxorus is going to come out. 1 Thrash does not finish it off, and unfortunately we got a 2-turn Thrash, which means that we get confused, hit ourselves in confusion twice in a row, and then we lose to a Dragon Tail. Very, very unfortunate. I do think that Thrash is definitely a solid option just for a little bit of extra damage. So we're going to switch things up here a little bit. Try to go for Thrash right off the bat onto the Fracture. Does get the one shot, which is nice. Druddigan's going to come out, but unfortunately, I do not think that this is the right way to go. So we get another 2-turn Thrash. We get confused. We smack ourselves in the confusion a couple times, and yeah, that's really unfortunate. So this happens one more time, just really bad confusion luck. So let's go ahead and skip to the winning attempt. All right, so here we go. Fracture's going to come out. We're going to just beat it down with returns like we did the first time. He's going to waste his healing items, which is nice. And eventually it will knock it out. Looks like it might have actually been a roll, or I got a critical hit there. I don't know. It went too fast. So we just return down the Druddigan, which is fine, I suppose. So I'm going to go into he's going to go into the Haxorus. I'm going to lock into Thrash. All he does is waste his time going for a Dragon Dance. And there we go. We finish it off with Thrash on the following turn. So yeah, outside of some just really bad luck with confusion, I don't think that the Thrash strategy was a terrible idea, but you know, it could have been probably executed a little better. So anyway, we meet up with Juniper one more time, get our Master Ball from her, which is very nice, and then we can move on towards Route 10. Before facing off with Cheren, we do have a couple of extra trainers. So we have our first ace trainer here that has a Fracture, but also an Electric and a Selgor for a couple more entries. The Veteran further down does have a Maractus, as well as a couple other Pokemon that we've seen already, but gives solid experience. So we're going to take out these two and then face off with Cheren. All right, final battle with Cheren time. So he leads off with the Unpheasant. Is it going to waste our time today? Thankfully, it does not. Very nice. So Superior is going to come out. It's pretty much always going to live one hit. However, it doesn't do barely anything with that Leaf Blade, which is cool. So Semaphore, same thing. We discharge it. It drops. That's really nice. And his last is going to be Liepard, and that is just going to drop to one more discharge as well. Very, very nice. So yeah, very, very easy. Like I said, the rival battles, I honestly don't think it really would have mattered which rival battles I picked. They pretty much all would have been about the same. So before we head out towards the rest of Route 10, we are going to stop here and encounter a wild Amoonguss. This is going to give us another Hidden Power entry, which is nice, and then we can battle a couple other trainers. So the first ace trainer is going to give us the entries for Sawsbuck and Jellicent. The Veteran is going to give us entries for Escavalier and Seismitoad, so we have to be really careful about the Seismitoad, but overall not too bad. So, and let's head into Victory Road. We're going to grab the rare candy across the puddle, and then we got a whole bunch of optional trainers, so time for some rapid fire. So first up is going to be the Veteran. She has a Beheeyem, Heatmore, and Lilligant. Then the Black Belt with a Scrafty, Mienfoo, and Conkeldurr, so a lot of great experience and solid entries there. The Doctor also has a Gothorita and is going to top us off, which is very nice. Then it's going to be the final ace trainer. He has a Clang, Darmanitan, and another Seismitoad, so we'll have to be careful around that, but very doable. After that, we are going to drop our Repel and run into one more final Wild Durant, putting us to exactly 115 Pokemon seen, and then we're going to enter into the Pokemon League area around level 60, but before we have to fly back and pick up our prize. All the way back to Nuvema Town, where we can stop by the lab, have a quick chat with Professor Juniper, and there you see 115 Pokemon seen. We can get the TMs for False Swipe, Protect, and the real prize, Hidden Power. Let's go. So what Hidden Power did I choose to go for? Well, we'll talk about that after I head over here, because we're going also to another very new location. We're going to surf across and head into routes 17 and 18. These are the kind of water routes, but they're completely optional, and they host a bunch of extra goodies. So First up, this is also where you get the toxic TM. That's not really what I'm here for, but there's also the HM for waterfall in this area and a whole bunch of extra training. So, however, what we need is at the very end, so I'll meet you over there. At the very end is the P2 laboratory and the TM for Thunderbolt. This is going to be our go-to electric type special move, and that's very nice. So we're gonna fly back to the Pokemon League, fix up our move set, and we have chosen to go with Hidden Power Grass. This is going to be incredibly useful for us in multiple points in the league and potentially in the last few fights. So we're going to go ahead and fix up our move pool here, dump a bunch of rare candies as well, and then head into the league. Let's do this. All right, first up is going to be Caitlin. So she has a Reuniclus. We have a Wild Charge with the Magnet boosting it. We are going to be doing enough to get the one shot there. So Charge Beam is going to come out, get the one shot on Sigilyph and boost our special attack, which is really nice. Thunderbolt actually misses the one shot on the Musharna, and so I'm kind of hoping maybe it's a roll. Does not look like it. If anything, we got a high roll, so I'm just going to keep spamming Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, though, we get kind of screwed over by Synchronize and Paralyzed. So Thunderbolt's going to come out. We get Paralyzed. Psychic is going to finish us off, and there we go. We take a reset to Caitlin, unfortunately. The second time, we just kind of get unlucky not getting a Charge Beam boost, and we actually take another reset, but hopefully third time's the charm. All right, Caitlin, take 3, Reuniclus, Zebstrika. We go for the Wild Charge. It drops very nice. So Sigilyph is going to come out. I accidentally misclick Hidden Power. Hits with a huge Psychic. Charge Beam is going to come off. I get the special attack boost. Very, very nice. So I learned my lesson against the Musharna the first time. I go for Charge Beam, get another boost. Barely live the Psychic, though, and there we go. With +2 special attack, we have all the power we need to one-shot the Gothitelle. So a little bit of a hiccup there, but not too bad, and we can move on to the next Elite Four member. All right, Grimsley's up next. So he does have a Scrafty. It's not going to drop to pretty much any one hit, so no reason not to go for Charge Beam. We do miss the first one, but the next one connects. We get a special attack boost, and that should be pretty much all we need. Thunderbolt's going to finish that off. Crocodile's come out, but we have Hidden Power Grass for you. Get out of here, big guy. Bisharp is going to come out next. The 1+1 Thunderbolt's going to finish that off. Liepard is last. It is very frail. Going to waste our time a little bit with a fake out, but no big deal. And there we go. 2 down. All right, Marshall's up next. We do have Throw. It's pretty much always going to live one hit and try to go for Bulldoze. So I take advantage of that because even at -1, we will always be faster. So we do get 1 boost on Charge Beam. I'm going to go for the same thing with Sock because it has Sturdy and it's always going to live. So we don't get too many boosts, but what we have is plenty enough to finish off the Conkeldurr with another T-Bolt and then Mienshao as well. So there we go, easy peasy, only 1 member left. And last but not least is Chantal, the entire reason we needed Hidden Power. So of course, her Coffin, we're just going to go for a Charge Beam, not do too terribly much. Does burn us, hit us with a Shadow Ball, but as long as we get all of our one-shots here, we should be okay. So there he is, the Golurk. We got Hidden Power Grass just for you. Our literal only other option was pretty much Pursuit, and that was not going to cut it. So 1 more Thunderbolt's going to finish off the Chandelure, and last is going to be the Jellicent, and there we go. We have completed the league just under 2 hours and 20 minutes. Not too bad. So yeah, I definitely think that Hidden Power was the way to go. Otherwise, we would have been there against that Golurk for a very, very, very long time. So, all right, let's chase down N and finish this. N summons his castle out of the ground somehow, and it is up to us to chase him down through because Alder couldn't do it. So We make our way through. We grab one more rare candy. Nothing interesting happens. And then we can take on the man himself in the throne room. By having a full party, we can deny adding the Cheren we caught to it, so we can lead off with Zebstrika versus Zekrom. So, N's AI has a very fun quirk. Of course, he has Fusion Bolt, and he wants to use that on turn 1. However, because we have an electric type immunity, thanks to our ability, it is never going to go for it. The AI can see your abilities in this game, not just your typing. So that is why I said at the very beginning, neither one of our abilities are really going to come into play too much, because they're never going to try to hit us with an electric type move anyway, unless we bait it by switching and stuff, which we can't really do. So as I've been talking about that, we have been plowing our way through this team. Caracosta even gets paralyzed by a Thunderbolt. You love to see it. No worries there with the sturdy shenanigans. And there we go. We have defeated N, and that is really, really nice. So first try Ed, never really have to worry about that too much. The best thing he had to hit us with, it was freaking Giga Impact, and it didn't even do half. Hell yeah. So after Ghetsis' temper tantrum, we have one more battle. All right, let's do this, Ghetsis. So he does lead off with the Cofagrigus. It is a huge troll. It likes to go for Toxic and Protect. So, however, while it's doing that, it's not doing a ton of damage itself, and we can start racking up Charge Beam boosts. We get it into the red, and now it is time for us to rest. We're going to get fully healed. We've picked up a couple boosts along the way, and with that, we can fire off a Thunderbolt and get the one-shot. Bouffalante's going to come out. It has Earthquake. I'm just going to finish it off with another Thunderbolt. And now the Seismitoad comes in, and I have to pause. So there is a very interesting AI quirk. As you can see, we are at full health. That means that this Seismitoad is not seeing a KO on us. It has the Swift Swim ability, which is an ability that doubles its speed while in the rain. This Seismitoad also has the move Rain Dance, so the AI right now is telling Ghetsis, you go for Rain Dance to try to gain the speed advantage because you do not KO. Because of that, we are able to go for Return. It is going to hit. It's going to set up Rain Dance, and we are still faster on the following turn. So we didn't even need Hidden Power for the Seismitoad, which is beautiful. So Thunderbolt is going to come through, two-shot the Hydreigon thanks to all the boosts. Bisharp as well is going to drop, and then it's just going to be down to his Electros, where we can finish off with 2 returns. And there we go. Thanks to some weird AI shenaniganry, we have actually first time beat the N and Ghetsis fights. Honestly, I had Hidden Power as a backup just in case we needed it, but I was so happy that this strategy ended up paying off and working out. So you'll love to see it. So shout outs to Axio Kairi Sora. He linked me the breakdown of the Gen 5 AI. I'm by far not an expert on it by any means, but it was a super useful resource, and because of that, we have clocked in with a time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 56 seconds. So, not great, but you know what? I will still take it. For an electric type, electric types are not very welcoming in this region, it seems. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And by having to get Hidden Power before the league, we had to dump a ton of time into that side quest. But nonetheless, I'm actually pretty proud of this. I got to learn a ton of cool AI shenanigans. I got to show off Hidden Power pre-league, which is a very tricky side quest that you have to go through. And despite us getting a pretty poor ranking as we get in here, we are at the bottom of the D tier now, even worse than Garbodor of all things. I'm still pretty happy with this run, and I thought it was cool. So let's go ahead, finish up the credits here, and see our final in-game time and wrap this thing up. And there we go. We have a final in-game time of 5 hours and 25 minutes. So despite a pretty poor ranking, sitting at the bottom of D tier right now. Like I said, had a ton of fun with this run, and it definitely taught me a lot of cool things about how the AI works in this game, which is awesome. So I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you continue watching these runs. I'm constantly learning a ton of new things about this generation, which is awesome because it's my favorite generation, and just always learning new things about stuff you love is really cool. So anyway, that is going to be it for Zebstrika today. I didn't perform the best, but I still had a ton of fun, and I hope you guys come back next week where we're going to be playing with Audino. We're giving it another try with another normal type, which is pretty cool. So anyway, that is going to be it for me today, though, guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. And with that said, like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.